Live Chat 92, welcome here on Brooksy's Bass Corner. Coming to you all the way from London town here in the UK. Hope you're well. It's Wednesday evening. Been a while since we've done a Wednesday evening live chat, but I hope you're all well. Hope you've found the live chat tonight. Obviously, last night didn't happen because I was out on a gig, out on a show, out in sunny Bracknell, doing an ABBA tribute theatre show at the Wild Theatre in Bracknell. So that's why last night's live chat didn't happen, and it was moved into this evening. Although, to be fair, when this season of live chats was started and booked in back in the summer, I'd already seen that gig was in. So, tonight's live chat was always the Wednesday night, of course. So I hope you're safe and well. I hope your bass playing's going great. We've got one more week of live chats. So next week, back to Tuesday on the 17th. And then we're going to take a little short break for Christmas. And then we'll be back with some more live chats. There's a possibility I might do one on the 28th, which is the Saturday after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year. I was meant to be out on a private function, private party with Uncle Funk, but for some reason the event has been cancelled and we're no longer playing on Saturday the 28th. So if I feel the the excitement to do a live chat on the Saturday between Christmas and New Year, I will let you know. And actually looking at the diary going forward into 2025, there's a possibility we might move the live chats to Saturday afternoons. So it will be Saturday afternoon here in the UK, would be Saturday morning and lunchtime for you guys in the US, and obviously wherever else you are in the on the globe. It'll be a different time zone again, of course, but thinking we might try and change things up a little, just see if the live chats get more interaction, more viewers, more people getting involved on a Saturday afternoon rather than a Tuesday or a Wednesday evening here in the UK, because you guys in the US are at work in the afternoon, of course. So the time zone doesn't help us with the live chats. But there we go. There we go. So if you're into bass guitars, bass playing, maybe you are a bass guitarist, maybe you're just starting, maybe amateur level, semi-pro, full-time pro, maybe. Come on in. You're very welcome. You're amongst friends. Good to have you here. New subscribers, come on in. Thank you very much for coming along for the ride. We've had a bit of a subscriber surge past 2 to 3 days. So if you're a new subscriber here on Brooksy's Bass Corner, you're very welcome. So come on in. I will try my very best to answer any questions or comments that you may have. Maybe you've got some issues with your gear. Maybe your bass is playing up. Maybe a pedal isn't working. Maybe your pedal chain isn't quite getting the tones that you want. If I can help, I will do my best to do so. If I don't know the answer, then one of the fine people here on Brooksy's Bass Corner will be able to offer up some advice, some know-how. But I'll do my very best to accommodate you as best I can, is probably the easiest way to put it. So this is the video window, of course. If you're new to the live chats, this is how this all works. So this is the video window. Directly below, if you're on the mobile app, is the live chat window. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. So at the bottom of the window that way, you'll see there's a box at the bottom that says chat or comment. Put your question or comment in there, press send, and it'll appear here in the live chat window. Then I can answer it. Right next to that text box, you'll see an emoji icon. Feel free to give that an absolute pummeling because it helps the video get traction within the YouTube algorithm. The video gets pumped out to more and more bass players. That's kind of what we want, really. Next to that, you'll see a rectangle with a dollar symbol in. That's called Super Chat. So if you wish to help the channel, help to keep it going for as long as possible, feel free to offer a financial donation via the Super Chat option. You don't have to. The videos are free to watch, free to get involved. The channel is monetized, so that's why there's the Super Chat option. So everything you see here on the channel, microphones, lights, leads, cables, effects pedals, basses, amps, everything to do with this channel has to be paid for. None of it is free. We're not a sponsored channel. So if you want to get involved, help the channel, keep the videos coming, hit that Super Chat button. Any size donation is very much appreciated, so I'll say that in advance. Underneath the video window, you've got a row of icons. You've got the thumbs up and the thumbs down. I've been banging on for weeks. The thumbs up is such a major importance for the channel, for this live chat video, for all the videos on the channel. Without the thumbs ups and the comments and the shares, none of the videos gain any traction. So if you enjoyed the live chat video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're going to give it a thumbs down, then please leave a comment. Let me know what you don't like so I can make the video better. There's a share arrow, so you can share this video out to social media, email, websites. There's a save button, so you can save the video to watch at a later date. There's a shop icon, allows you to buy some Brooksy's Bass Corner merch. We've got caps, we've got hoodies, t-shirts, mouse mats, mugs, glasses, iPhone cases, lunch boxes, 170 products with Brooksy's Bass Corner merch. So there are about 15 designs. Feel free to check that out, and that will allow you to buy a piece of merch, and the channel gets a small commission on each piece of merchandise that's sold. Next to that, you'll find a love heart with a dollar symbol, and that's called Super Thanks. That works in exactly the same way as Super Chat. Bill Derbyshire, good to see you. So if you wish to make a financial donation to the channel, you can do so. The Super Thanks facility exists on every single video here on Brooksy's Bass Corner. Again, we're a monetized channel, so that facility is there. So if you watch any of the videos here on Brooksy's Bass Corner and you think that's really helpful, that's a piece of advice I can use, that'll help me in my bass playing or with my gear or maintenance of my instrument. If you want to say thank you to me, you can do so. That Super Thanks option exists on every single video. So look for the love heart with a dollar symbol in. That's Super Thanks. Underneath the icons, you've got description box. So in there, you're going to find timestamps for everything we discuss here on the video. They won't be there till about midday tomorrow. So everything we talk about regarding bass, all the chat content. Dawson, all the way from Canada, good to see you. Anything that we discuss here, there will be a timestamp for it. So it will allow you to skip through the video at will. So say we talk about 10 different basses here tonight. There will be 10 different timestamps in description box. You can click on the time in the description box. It'll take you straight through to that section in the video. So if we're a 2-hour live chat, 3-hour live chat, you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. Go in the description box, see the timestamps, and it will allow you then to jump through the video. And those timestamps correlate with the notches that you'll see on the timeline at the bottom of the video. If you put your arrow over the play and pause button and the time, you'll see there's a red strip appears at the bottom of the video, and there'll be like a series of notches. So those timestamps correlate with those notches. After the timestamps, you're going to find affiliate links for the Bass Centre here in the UK, currently celebrating their 40th anniversary. It'll be 41st anniversary when we get into January. So Barry, Jill, Dave, if you're watching, evening. I do have the Neil Murray basses here. They will be coming back very shortly. I kind of thought I would get them to you yesterday, which is a bit after the event, I know, because I had a theatre show in Bracknell last night. So I could have swung past Bagshot, but trying to organise everything in December has just proved futile. So those will possibly come back to you next week. We'll see. If not, it'll be the new year. But they're safe and well. They're here. Everything's fine. No problems. Manfred Oliveira, good to see you too. So as I said, affiliate links there for the Bass Centre. So if you want to buy 40th anniversary merch, you want to buy Elite strings, you want to buy any of the Bass Centre basses in the bass collection, or the British Bassmasters series, including Betsy. She's back in the rack this week. Good to see her back. She was in a gig bag last week, and I took the wrong bass to the gig. But there we are. Anyway, that's another story. So then after the Bass Centre affiliate link, you're going to find Top Cashback, vidIQ, and StreamYard, if you want to get involved in any of those three things. And then after that, if you've got any bass related purchases coming up, you want to help the channel, we've got 4 retailers there that sell bass equipment. So there's Amazon.com, Thomann, Gear for Music, and Andertons. If you buy any gear, or you're thinking of buying any gear, then use those affiliate links, purchase your equipment. The channel gets a very small affiliate kickback from those retail websites. So if you're buying some strings, buying a pedal, new amp, new bass, gig bag, whatever it might be, go through to those retailers using the links in the description box, buy your item, pay for it, and then the channel receives a small commission off the back of that. After that, you're going to find social media links. So you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, Be Real, Reddit, Quora, Discord, and TikTok. And Blue Sky will be coming in the next couple of days when I get a second to set that all up. So here we are, live chat 92. One more to go before Christmas. So, Bill Derbyshire said good evening to you. Dawson Walters said good evening to you. Manfred Oliveras have said good evening to you. And Manfred is saying, you fell in love with the bass when you played your bass through a PV TNT 300 and locked in with the bass drum playing Aces High. Well, good for you, sir. Well done. All the way from Puerto Rico, no less. 27 degrees. Very sunny, you lucky beggar. We're in the middle of winter, not freezingly cold. It's about 8 or 9 degrees today, but we've got a northerly wind coming from the Arctic, so it's a little bit chilly out on the dog walk earlier. But yeah, we're in the middle of winter. 'Tis what it is, isn't it? But anyway, good to see you, Manfred. So he is referring to tonight's topic. So either I guess you've come through from YouTube, the YouTube channel. If you've come through from social media, you won't know what tonight's topic is. I haven't said it yet, so let me put it up on the screen for you. So what made you fall in love for bass? What made you fall in love with bass playing? Was it a particular band or particular player? Maybe you were in a band playing a different instrument and you suddenly thought, no, there's a far more intelligent and worthwhile cause here. I'm going to move over on a bass guitar. Maybe you did. Was it a particular album? Maybe a particular song? Maybe you had an idol as you grew up and you thought, I really like the bass player in that band. That's what I want to do. And that made you take up bass guitar. Maybe you went into a music shop and heard someone else playing and just thought, that's for me. That's for me. It happens, you know. Some people do get drawn to the instrument just seeing someone else play it. And it's like, oh, that happened to me. I thought it was going to be a singer, then thought it was going to be a drummer, saw another bass player at school and thought, that's what I want to do. And then I've mentioned it before, the whole process was one of the teachers at school put a note up on the music room notice board, giving bass lessons on Wednesday afternoons. I saw that, I applied, went to the first lesson, picked the bass up, and that was it. Sold, hook, line, and sinker. That was me. So that's what got me playing. For anyone who's interested in knowing my my background and career on bass, I did a really good interview last week for a guy called Steve Kennedy. He has a YouTube channel here called Cover Band Keyboard Player. He plays in a covers band, funnily enough. Does a lot of function work, a lot of covers work, and a lot of keyboard content on his channel, but he's more interested in talking to players, people who do this for a living, people who might have a bit of advice to give, a bit of a track record. So obviously next year is my 30th year of doing this professionally. So he approached me via Graham Potts. Graham, if you're watching, evening. We haven't seen Graham here on the live chat for quite a while, but he's still out there doing his thing. And he put Steve in touch with me, and he just said, look, would you consider doing a video interview for my channel? I said, yeah, absolutely. So I'll put a link up. Let me just grab that video. 2 seconds. And if it's there, if you want to watch it, then feel free. Bear with me a moment. There we go. So the video, we literally did in one take. I thought he was going to edit it up, but he didn't. He just went for it. And all good. So if you want to see me prattling on for almost 2 hours, this is that video. 2 seconds. Here we go. And it was really enjoyable. I couldn't believe 2 hours kind of passed by that quick. But so we talked about how I became a bass player, my career, bands I've played with, gear I use, the whole IEM versus a monitor situation, where I hope my career still has to go. And it was a really good chat. So he asked some great questions. It felt very weird. Normally, I'm the guy doing the interviewing. And I hadn't done an interview since 2020 when we were in lockdown, just after the channel started. And before that, the last interview I did would have been 2015 for a guy called Ewan Mushy in Scotland. And he interviewed me when I was in Israel doing a month of shows. So there was like 9 years of content and career to catch up on there, but very good. George Iliadis, all the way from Australia. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Manfred, you are in the middle of winter too, of course, because you're on the kind of equator, aren't you? So yes, you'll have warmer weather than us. Dawson, 12 years old, hearing Geezer Butler playing the wah pedal on NIB on the first album. Very good. So yeah, Dawson's replying to tonight's topic, which is what made you fall in love with bass playing or picking up a bass. So if you've got any insight, want to tell us, share your experiences. Feel free. Obviously, we're on StreamYard, so if you want to join in via video or audio on the live chat, you can do so. You'll see a ticker running at the bottom of the screen. Email me at brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll email you an invite. You click on the invite, you come through onto the live chat. That's how it works. So if you want to talk to me directly about bass, maybe you've got some bass purchases coming up. Maybe you're thinking of starting bass. Maybe your parents have bought you a bass guitar for Christmas and you just want to check some things out before they buy the instrument that you think you're going to buy, or pedals or amps, or you want to ask me string questions, maintenance tips for your bass. Maybe you've got some money coming your way and you're thinking of buying a new setup, new pedals, what have you. Feel free. If I can help, offer some advice, that's what I'm here for. So we do have some new purchases, and I did mention them last week. So I took the plunge, finally. And I've been seeing these pedals for quite a while on various retailers. So the Sonicake pedals, they're very small, mini pedals, made in China. But they seem to be gaining some traction. And I thought, you know what? I need to start looking at these and covering them on the channel. Not only because they're cheap, I want to see how good they sound or how bad they sound, how well or how bad they're put together, but also I want to compare them to more expensive pedals. So I've bought 3 straight off my own back. No one sent me these. I bought them off Amazon. So we've got the Octaver, we've got the Crybot, which is like a wah envelope filter type pedal, and then we've got the 5th Dimension pedal, which is going to be similar to that Dimension C Boss pedal, but it's got chorus, flanger, all sorts of modulation effects built into one. So we've got 3 pedals that I think are going to be usable on bass. So keep an eye on the channel, because I'm going to be doing the straight out the box reviews and demos with this very shortly. But also, like I say, I want to do some comparison videos. So we will see. We'll see. I haven't even opened the boxes. They came last week, but I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance really to do anything. So the gig situation has been rather frantic. So here's the octave pedal. They're very simply laid out. They're just micro pedals, really. So, but I want to see how good they actually are. So we will see, and I will cast my eye and I will give my opinion. And like I say, no one sent me these. There's no bias going to go on. If they're good, I'll tell you, and if they're not so good, I will tell you. And I paid for them out of my own pocket, so I don't owe anyone anything for these. So we will see how they sound. The Dimension one, the modulation one, a little bit more involved. So this has got 3 controls. What's that say? Mix, depth, rate, and then, goodness me, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 settings on that one. Oh, the old eyes aren't what they used to be. Right, let's try and read that. Even with bifocals, there. Odd. Right, we've got a phase 101, we've got a jet flanger, jet plane, big sky. The descriptions they give these effects. Stereo chorus, liquid tremolo, octo tremolo, roto 60, blue vibe, crying bot, loafy. Anyway, hope that means something to somebody, and I will check that out. And like I say, we'll give all of these a good going over. So keep an eye here on the channel, and I'll be putting those videos up very shortly. But I'm intrigued to know how good or how bad they are. And I know other people have done demos and stuff, but I'm going to do my own demos, you know. Own demos, own reviews. So this is the Crybot. So this is more like a wah. It's like a wah filter pedal. So this has got sensitivity, presence, frequency, and decay. Not let's see if you can. There we go. See if that's in focus. Just can't decide. The camera can't decide whether to put me or the pedal in focus. There we go. So we will see. We will see how these sound. There are some more pedals, and if I think these are good, I'll get some more in, and we'll check them out. So that goes in there. That goes in there. And I've got a whole backlog of filter. What am I talking about? Effects pedal videos to do. Sorry, the brain's a little jumbled because I was on a gig last night. I've had 5 gigs so far this month, so it's been busy. Let's get into the chat here. Bill Derbyshire, Mr. Phil Limnett's fault you became a bass player. Well, that's no bad influence, is it? That's a good influence in my book. Well done. Tony, when I was younger, I was instantly attracted to bass. Good man. Even if I didn't know what it was, I would turn my stereo speakers upside down and place my ears upon them just to hear more bass. When you were 11 years old. Well. You were 11 years old when someone explained it was bass that I liked. Okay, get it? Your mum bought you a violin bass, a Hofner type affair, I guess, when I was 12 in 1978, okay, and discovered the Grease soundtrack. Well, I was full of good bass lines on there, which to me was a bass player's treasure box. Yes, indeed. Most of which was either played by, well, actually quite a lot of it was played by David Hungate, who obviously was the bass player in Toto. I suspect Mike Porcaro played on a couple of tracks, but there were some other bass players as well. There's so many songs on that soundtrack. I think it's a double album. I think. Let me just, I've got it here on my music player, of course. Done many a Grease show in my time. Let me just check. I know there's a substantial number of tracks on the album. Here we go, original soundtracks, and we want Grease. There we go. There are 24 tracks, so I'm guessing, I think that was a double album, but it might have been a single CD. So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there. In fact, let's just Google who the bass players were on the Grease soundtrack. I know there's some very famous studio cats on that. Okay, so there's a thing here from 2009 where someone has said, from what they've been able to find out, the bass players listed are Mike Porcaro, David Hungate, Max Bennett, who I can't say I know, David Allen Ryan, I don't know who he is, William J. Bodin, his name rings a bell as a session cat, Dean Cortez I've heard of, and Harold Cowart. I don't know him. Some good stuff there. But all the bass lines on there are pretty good. Those songs are orchestrated. They're musical songs. So, yeah. So if you are looking for something worth practicing, maybe over Christmas holidays, if you've got some downtime, check out the Grease soundtrack. It might not be trendy, but I'll tell you what, if you can get your fingers around some of those, it's worthwhile. And you never know when you might get asked to either play songs from it or as part of a tribute show or a theatre show for Grease. So it's not wasted practice, I can assure you. Back to Tony. So then you discover Blondie. Very good. Love Nigel Harrison. Agreed. Playing on teeth back in. you're playing on parallel lines, which is the classic Blondie album. You never wanted to play anything else but bass, and quite right too. I couldn't agree more. Well, people who know me, checked up on my history over the years, will know. For me, it's a tale of two Johns, so it's Taylor and Deacon for me. And but I always had bass kind of in my head because when I was growing up, my mum would have the radio on. Late 70s, I was hearing disco every 5 minutes, and my mum bought albums and Earth, Wind and Fire and Chic and Bee Gees soundtracks and Bee Gees albums and what have you. There's a lot of disco playing going on. So all of that stuff was going in subliminally. I didn't know that's what I'd end up doing. And as I was growing up, my influences were Duran Duran, Queen. Kind of, they were my two main focus bands that I was like intent on. But I was listening to lots of other stuff as well. And yeah, first option for me was I wanted to be the singer, and then the voice dropped and it was like, you aren't going to be the singer. And then I thought I'd be the drummer, and then realized at the age of 14 and 15, you haven't got a car, you can't drive a kit around, there are better drummers at school than you, and they're already doing it, you're not. So everyone wants to be the guitar player. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, maybe bass could be my thing. Lo and behold, it was. It's like the key in the door. And here we are, 37 years later. But it's all good. It's all good. Thank you for all the feedback, gang. Very good. So thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who's been liking the videos, commenting as well. Everything is up. You know, I've been saying it week on week, month on month. Everything here on the channel on Brooksy's Bass Corner is on the up. So thank you to all of you. Keep coming back week after week. Maybe you just sort of drop into the channel and drop out again, and it sort of just check in now and again. It's all very much appreciated. The regular viewers, to the live chats, the people who check out all the content I put up, thank you. I can't do it without you, gang. So it is very much appreciated. So and lots more to come. Once I get this week out the way, I've actually got a number of days next week where I'm intending, I keep saying it every week, you know, I intend to do that. And it's just, the days roll over just like crazy at this time of year when you've got gigs and you're prepping for shows and Christmas on the horizon and everything else. And but next week, I've only got 2 gigs right at the end of the week. So I've got a good 4 or 5 days of content production and uploading. So keep watching. Martin Fay, we haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope everything's good with you. Good to have you back on board. Excellent. So yeah, like I say, next week, fingers crossed, I can take the handbrake off a bit and really go for it. And then over, once we get past sort of Christmas, Boxing Day, I've got a couple of days now that I don't have gigs in the run up to New Year's Eve. And then through January, at the moment, my gigging diary is fairly quiet. So my whole plan, I'm building a schedule for January. So I intend to try and get 2 or 3 long form videos up per week, multiple shorts, complete mix of content. So we'll see how it goes. I've got this backlog on my hard drive of videos that are either nearly just finished or they are finished, but I need the 3-4 hour slot of promotion for those videos in order to make them count. But at the moment, all the figures in the YouTube analytics are all green. So everything on the channel is like going upward. It's all good. All the graphs are, it's an upward trend. So thank you very much. Martin, sorry I haven't been able to join for a while. Lots of family stuff going on. Mate, that's fine. You know where we are. You can always watch stuff on catch up. Every live chat we've done. So this is number 92. They're all there on the channel. If anyone wants to check any of those out, just go to the playlist section and look for the live chat section. You'll see every single live chat we've ever done here on the channel is listed. So you drop in and out as you wish, Martin. I'm not intending going anywhere. So, you know, catch up at your leisure. And if you enjoy the content, then that's fabulous. Great stuff. So last week was very busy. Obviously, we had the live chat on Tuesday. I then had gigs on Wednesday. I had a gig on Thursday. I thought I had a gig on Friday, but that got cancelled. And I had a gig on Saturday. So Wednesday, we had the Queen tribute at the Kenton Theatre in Henley, which was a fabulous show. First time I've been to that theatre. Hope I go back again because it was great. Really small, intimate, fabulous crowd. If anyone is watching this, maybe you're watching it 10 years down the line. But you, Andy, good to see you from Australia. Hi. Anyone who was at the Crazy Little Thing Called Queen show at the Kenton Theatre in Henley on the 4th of December 2024, it was peeing with rain outside. We had an absolute blast, I have to say. One of the most enjoyable Queen gigs I've done in a long, long time. You lot made it just an absolutely outstanding show. Just loved it. We were going for it. By about 3 songs in, I thought we've got an audience here tonight. And it was great. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to come back. So hopefully we'll get another booking for next year. So that was great. So that started the month off well. And then the following night I had Platinum ABBA, obviously an ABBA tribute, down at the Tivoli Theatre in Wimborne. We play there every year. It's, you know what you're going to get at the Tiv. And it's a regular crowd, sells out. Fabulous. So I had 2 nights on the bounce, 2 separate bands, amazing audiences on both. So again, if you were at the Tivoli last Thursday, watching Platinum ABBA, thank you very much. That was a great show. Again, I from the moment we started, they were well up for it, and every song, rapturous applause, people up dancing, singing along. Can't ask for more than that, really. So that was great. Then, like I say, Friday night we had off. Saturday night was a wedding with Uncle Funk. Very prestigious wedding, actually. Very well-to-do family. In a very big marquee. We had a major storm here in the UK last week, Storm Dara. And despite its best attempts to completely wreck the marquee and everything else, it was fab. The marquee stood its ground, and the walk between our changing room and the marquee, we did 3 sets, wasn't the greatest bundle of fun. Actually, no, we did 2 sets, sorry, but we were going backwards and forwards a lot regarding sound checks and stuff, so, and the breaks. So that was great. We had a great show, but it was a late one. But it was okay, and the drive home was a little bit hairy, but it was okay. And then last night I had Platinum ABBA again at the Wild Theatre in Bracknell. Again, do it every year, every Christmas. And the band played last week on the Wednesday. We were supposed to be there tonight. That show got moved to last Wednesday, but I couldn't do it because I was already booked for the Queen show. So last night was the second of 2 shows, last Wednesday and then last night. And last night, absolutely stonking. I've never seen a reaction to some of the songs in that ABBA set as I saw last night at the Wild Theatre in Bracknell. So if you were there, thank you for making it fabulous. It makes a big difference. I've done shows at that same theatre and people have just been sat in their chairs, arms folded. No feedback, not much applause, and we did 1 show there last year. In fact, no, we did the 2 shows there last year where on the Tuesday night, the whole audience were dead. It was sold out, but it was dead. They just weren't up for partying. The following night, complete opposite. Absolute like animals hanging off the rafters and all of that. Last night was like that. So if the gigs carry on being like that this month, I'll be very happy. So what have I got left? I've got 2 Uncle Funk shows this week, Friday and Saturday. Jerry Blair isn't here yet. Jerry, if you come on to this later or you watch this on catch up, you said a couple of weeks ago that you wanted to come to the Uncle Funk show on the 14th of December in Sawbridgeworth. I need to know if you want to come along. And actually, this is an open invite to anyone that's watching the live chat, or even if you're watching it after the event before Saturday. So tonight's Wednesday. Anyone that watches Brooksy's Bass Corner, if you want to come and see me do my thing, you want to meet up, say hello, have a Christmas boogie if that's your thing. We're playing at Sawbridgeworth Memorial Hall this Saturday, the 14th. It's always a good night when we play there. We've done a show there every Christmas for like the past 3-4 years since we came out of lockdown. If you want to come along, I have access to the guest list and I can provide tickets and passes and all that sort of thing. So if you want to come along, for sound check, I'm more than happy to accommodate. You can ask me questions about bass stuff and all of that. You can see what we do and the whole IEM thing and no backline. If that's your thing, if you want to come along, let me know. If you're watching the live chat now, let me know in the comments section. If you're watching this on catch up, so later tonight, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday morning, leave a comment in the video or contact me via social media, or you can email me using the email address at the bottom of the page, running along the ticker at the moment, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I can, if I find out you want to come along, let me know. I'll accommodate you. It's fine. You get in for free. Don't have to buy tickets unless you're too lazy and you don't get in touch, and then you'll have to buy a ticket. So there we are. So that's what I've got coming up. And then next week, blimey, Queen in Cirencester, but I don't have the details for that gig at the moment. I don't know if it's a public gig or a private gig. That's on the Friday. And then I've got an Oasis tribute on Saturday in Bridgewater. Again, I don't know if it's a public or a private do. I'll be able to fill you in a bit more with the details next week, because I'll have the details next week. Dawson, what was your favourite, most fun gig of all time? Do you mean gig I've played or gig I've been to and watched? You tell me, Dawson, which one do you mean? Hello, Stacey Ann from North Carolina. You tell me, Dawson, which one do you mean? The one I've played or the one I've been to as a punter? You let me know. Gig I've played. Wow. Someone, actually, the guy that interviewed me, Steve, on Friday, he asked exactly the same thing. It's hard to nail down one gig when you've done like over 4,000. Partly because the brain can't remember all of them, although I am quite good at remembering most gigs. My favourite gig. There have been many. There were actually several gigs when my old covers band Cover Story played in Alat in 2011, because that trip changed everything for us playing out there, which meant we went from doing one gig a year to two, breaking the record of the most money taken over the bar on a month trip by any band. I think we still hold the record. It would be very hard for anyone to beat that record, because there was a Russian security firm boss flashing the cash, and he had lots of it, and he was literally putting thousands of dollars across the bar every night. So it'd be very hard for any band to replicate that again. So there were a number of shows on that run. There was another show we did there in, gotta get the year right, September 2013, in the same venue, where on one day we played the beer festival out on the beach at about 8 o'clock, I think we played, and we did an hour's set. I can't say we blew the roof off the place because we were outdoors on the beach, but we had about 5,000 people watching us. And most of the people knew that we were then going back to the venue, and they all followed. Well, I say they followed us. They didn't literally physically follow us as we were traveling back to the venue, but they came down. So once we finished the beach gig, we then went back to the venue, got changed, came on, I think at like 11:15, and we did our regular 2 sets that night, but the whole bar was absolutely rammed. I'd never seen that club that full, to the point it was very hard for people to dance because they were literally crammed in. So that was a good gig. That was a good night, actually, because the beach gig had been fab, and then to do 2 sets again with the place absolutely steaming was great. I've done a couple of Uncle Funk gigs since we came out of lockdown where we've done festivals that have been off the leash. Done a couple of those. And like I say, last week's Queen and ABBA shows were great. I'm trying to think. There's so many, really. There's so many that I've been like, when you're in the middle of it, very often the best gigs are the ones you're not aware of how well they're going when you're in the middle of it, because you're concentrating on playing and entertaining the people in front of you. But then if there's video footage, or I used to record a lot of gigs audio, and you listen back and you realize, oh, that was a good one. That was a real good one. We did a few gigs with Cover Story where Steve was just the voice was warmed up really well. Or we might have been like in a run of shows, like in a summer when you're doing 4 or 5 gigs a week. And some weeks he would just hit a vein of form where the voice was just on it, really on it. And I'm trying to think. We used to do a regular place in Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, called Great Gransden, and we got that gig through Don Airy, keyboard player with Deep Purple and White Snake and a million other bands. And we would do it every 2 years, so they'd have this charity fundraiser weekend thing, and we would do the Friday night. We'd always do the Friday night, the opening of the weekend, and we had some great gigs doing that. And there were people that we knew, a few names would pop up, and we had some great gigs doing that. So yeah. But like I say, the really good gigs, you don't realize they're really good gigs until you finish the gig, or you might get an inkling sort of halfway through, this is going rather well. And every song we're playing is going down great. But trying to think, depth gigs I've done for people. Yeah, I used to play. The guy that runs the ABBA band used to be in a band called Mike Fabgear. Originally, it was called Mike Fabgear and the Permissive Society, and then it became Mike Fabgear and the Brothers of Perpetual Excitement. And we used to do some gigs at the Roadhouse in Covent Garden on Tuesdays, which was ladies' night. And rest in peace, the Roadhouse doesn't exist anymore. But back in those days, in the 90s, ladies' night was a major thing, because the whole place was rammed by about 7:30, I think, because women got in for free. And there were discounted drinks up until 9 o'clock, I think. So the Roadhouse was usually open till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. 4, I think. And we did some Mike Fabgear nights, because he would always do 1 or 2 Tuesdays every month. I was just the debt. But I was doing more and more of them as Bob Skeet, who's the bass player for Wishbone Ash, became unavailable to do those on a regular basis. So I'd pick up that work as his debt. And some of those I've got on audio, and they were off the leash. The whole Roadhouse absolutely stuffed with people. Unfortunately, it kind of lost its way in the early 2000s when there was a bit of an incident outside the Roadhouse, which suddenly saw audiences drop a bit. But anyway, yes, some of those Tuesdays were, you wouldn't expect it on a Tuesday to be, crazy. That's normally a Friday or a Saturday, but those Tuesdays were. And actually, back in those days, the Roadhouse was busy literally every night, Tuesday through to Saturday. Then Sunday, Monday would be a little quieter, and then it'd pick up again on the Tuesday. But so I can't pick one favorite when there's like 4,000 plus. But when you're in a good one, you know it. And actually, now as I'm getting older, and I realise, like, okay, I've still got years on the clock to go, but you're aware you're probably closer to the finish line than you have had. If I did another 30 years, I'd be 82. So that's probably not going to be happening. I think I'll probably, the playing side of things will become a restriction as the body, you know, the brain and heart would want to carry on, but the body might not be so willing. But now I'm very aware when whatever band I'm playing with, if we're on a good gig, I'm aware of it. I'm clocking everything that's going on around me. So, yeah, that's my take on that. How about you, Dawson? Have you had a favourite gig yet that you've played? Has it? Well, let's have your stories. What's your favourite gig that you've done? Let's have your gig stories, guys. Let us know. Have to say, when I did a run of gigs with the Oasis tribute back in 2018, just after their bass player had died, we were doing a string of O2 academies here in the UK, and some of those shows were off the leash. Newcastle being a perfect example. Every time I've gigged in Newcastle, it's been fab. But that particular show's wasn't my last show before Christmas. There was one more the night after, but it was the last Saturday before Christmas, and I've got an audio recording of that Newcastle gig. So if you were there in 2018, when Definitely Might Be played at Newcastle O2 Academy, yeah, that was me. I was on bass that night, and that was amazing. But we had a few on that run that were kind of took my breath away. I was like, yeah, this is really... Never been a huge Oasis fan, but I'm wary that certain songs of theirs have now fallen into, you know, the fabric of this country. And when you've got a venue, because at that time there was no inkling that Oasis would get back together, people would come out and pay good money for tickets, and when you know you're playing with a really good tribute, it's nice because you've kind of got an air of confidence about you, certainly as a dep, that there's nothing to worry about here. You know, as long as the sound man does their thing and the lighting people do a good job, the band's going to be great, so we're going to have a good time. But some of those shows were great. Dawson, good stuff. Don Airy, Wishbone Ash, Roadhouse. Wow. Yeah. I've got those stories. I've been around I've done the miles. The miles are on the clock. For a period from 1999 probably through to about 2001, 2002, Don Airy was the MD and keyboard player in Mike Fabgear's band. I did a number of shows with Don. He rang me, actually, just as we were coming out of lockdown, so 3 years ago. Let's say 3.5. And he rang me. I think he was just checking that my number in his phone was me. He said, "Is that you, Mike?" "Yeah, it's me. Can I help?" He said, No. I was just checking. I was just going through numbers and stuff. Anyway, how are you? About half an hour later, we finished our chat. But Don's great. Dawson, you played for Perpetual Peace Project, okay? Livestock Festival. 12 people in the audience. We've all had them. I've done those gigs. You even had a sound tech with sound check. Got paid $10. Professional start, I would say. Well, you earned more on your first gig than I did. Or on that gig than I did. My first gig was to people at my school. And I'd only been playing 2 months at that time. So you got paid $10 and I got nothing. You got to start somewhere. That's for sure. We've all got to start somewhere on that road. So if you are just dropping in on the live chat, good to have you here. It's coming up 10 to 9 here in London town, here in the UK. This is live chat 92. Yes, indeed. 92 live chats we've done. Here on Brooksy's Bass Corner. Tonight's topic of conversation: what made you fall in love with bass guitar? What made you fall for being a bass player? What was the decisive moment? What was the point that you suddenly went, that's what I want to do? Or that looks really good, I'd like to have a go at that. Let me know. Let's hear your stories. If you want to do it by video or by audio, you can. So obviously you can join me here live by video or audio, whichever suits you. email me. There's a ticker running at the bottom of the screen with the email address. So it's brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. If you email me, I'll send you an invite. You click on the invite and you can then come through here. So you can either have a chat with me by video, or you can do it as Dawson has done in weeks gone by, where you turn off your camera facility on your device and just talk by the microphone on that device, whether it's your phone, tablet, you might have a webcam, you might have a camera, or obviously on your smartphone, and you can just talk, and we can talk by audio. It's all good. But those options are there. So like I say, just email me at brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com and I'll bring you through here. Obviously, we've got the super chat and super thanks facilities. So if you want to help the channel out, if you're enjoying the video or enjoying other videos here on the channel, at the bottom of the chat window, you'll see a rectangle with a dollar symbol. That allows you to make a super chat donation if you enjoy what we do here on Brooksy's Bass Corner. You just hit that button, type in how much you wish to donate to the channel. Alternatively, every video here on Brooksy's Bass Corner has the super thanks facility. So you'll find that in the icons below the video window. You'll see a love heart with a dollar symbol in, and that's called super thanks. So if you watch a video, you think that's really good, that's really informative, educational, there's some advice in there I can make use of. If you want to say thank you to me and the channel, use the super thanks facility. And like I say, it exists on every video because we're a monetized channel. And those are there for you to do with as you wish. Again, please give the video a thumbs up if you'd be so kind. Please leave comments. Feel free to share any of the videos here on the channel out to the various social media platforms. The more exposure, the more viewers, the more positive signals we can give the YouTube algorithm, the better it is for the channel. The videos then get sort of pushed out to people who like watching bass-related videos. We get more views, we build more traction, and that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So if you can help me, help the channel, help the videos, big thumbs up would be handy. Share the videos, and please leave comments. Good, bad, or indifferent. It all helps. Adding emojis into the live chat is also a positive indication that you're enjoying the live chat. So feel free to do that. Yeah, cool. So I think we're all caught up. Let me just check the health of the stream. Just check it's all okay. That's good. That's up and running. That's all looking pretty good. Stream is healthy. Stream is excellent. Okay, good. We're going along. So as I say, tonight is the penultimate live chat before Christmas. So we're here next Tuesday. Back on a Tuesday, of course. Tonight is an exception because I had a gig last night. So next Tuesday we'll be here at 8 o'clock, and that will be live chat 93. Rounding up all the things we've chatted about since we came back in July. I'm hoping to now start, well, once we get past Christmas, we're going to do Saturday afternoon live chats, see how they work. It's a little bit of an experiment for a couple of months. It might work great. It might not. I'm very wary that when we're doing Tuesday night live chats, or obviously Wednesday as it is today, that we go live from 8 o'clock here in the UK. Most people in the US are at work. They can't get involved, and I know some of you tune in while you're at work, and I do appreciate it. But I thought, well, Saturdays, most people are going to be having some spare time. Let's see if Saturdays build more traction. And also it would allow those of you in the US to get more involved, come in on the video feed, talk about bass. That's what we're here for. So I just want to do maybe we'll do 8 to 10 through the early months of 2025 and see if that works. See if there's any change in the amount of people we're getting here on the live chats. And if it doesn't work, we can go back to Tuesdays. It's fine. Maybe if it all takes off, we'll do that. Maybe the Saturday live chat will have a different sort of focus, and the Tuesday night live chat will stay as the regulars like it here. So there's all sorts of possibilities, and it's all good. So if you've got any questions about basses, bass guitars, bass amps, bass effects, bass accessories, maybe you are shopping for a bass player and we've got Christmas coming up and you're thinking, I don't know what to buy them. What do I get them? Ask me. I can offer you some advice, give you some ideas. We have a video here on the channel. I will just dig that up, actually. Share the link with you in case you found this video and you think, I need to know all this stuff. Where are we? It's not coming up in the search one. Ah, there we go. Let me share that. No, the YouTube search within my channel has been a little problematic of late. So if you're looking for ideas, or you can share this with a family member if you want them to buy you some bass-related gifts for Christmas, there's the Brooksy's Christmas gift guide for bass players. Check it out. Dawson, what does a high-pass filter knob on a pedal do? Okay, so my Alembics, WAL basses, use a different type of EQ system. So they use filters rather than a typical 2 or 3 band EQ if it's an active bass. If it's a passive bass, it'll have a low pass filter, which is the tone control. But basically a high pass filter is basically a gradated spectrum. Okay. As you're turning it, it opens the gate to let high frequencies through. In the same way, a low pass filter works opposite. So that is allowing, so at one extreme, it's just bottom end. You're not getting any high frequency clarity. With a high pass filter, it's working in opposite. So when you're at the lowest section, you've got loads and loads of treble. And as you open that gate, more and more mids and low frequencies will come into the operation. That's my understanding of a high pass filter. So basically on a WAL, an Alembic, ACG basses, Alan Cringine, if you're watching, giving you a shout out, they use filter systems. So basically it's almost in a similar way to a noise gate. How you set the controls on a noise gate basically defines how open it is to noise and background hiss and any other sort of system and frequency disturbance you're getting in the signal. How you set that basically controls how much is coming through that gate. So it's kind of the same thing with a high and a low pass filter. The more you open it up, the more of the frequency can come through. As you close it down, less of that frequency comes through. So that's basically a high pass filter. Does that make sense to you, Dawson? If you go on to any of my Alembic demo videos, let me pull one up here. Okay. If you have a look at this video, this is my 20th anniversary Alembic. If you check this out, Dawson, look at the tone settings that are in text in the bottom right hand corner. And basically there, I'm going in percentage terms of how far I've turned the filters. You will hear the difference. So when it's when the low pass filter is closed, you're just getting lots of low end, lots of muffle. So everything's like woo. As I open that control up 20%, 30%, 50%, you will hear more and more tone and clarity coming through. But it's a good demonstration of how that control works. So on the Alembics, you have one for each pickup. So it's very evident if I'm soloing an individual pickup. As that control opens up, you hear all these frequencies come out. And Alembics are a good example of how that works. because their electronics are so clean. Lots of clarity, lots of punch. Sometimes an Alembic would benefit from having a 3-band EQ rather than filter system, to my ears, and I'm probably not the only player that thinks that, but I like them for being filter based. So you get different nuances into your tone that you wouldn't necessarily get with a standard 3-band EQ. It's a different way of doing things, and you kind of have to spend some time learning how those things work. So Micah from Alembic, if you're watching, Micah, good to see you. I will be in touch to do an interview at some point. We keep talking about this, we'll do it. She talks about using the pickups and their position to tailor your EQ. So basically, if you want a bassier sound, set your neck pickup, which has a bassier sound naturally, to how you want that to be responsible for your bass end, and use the bridge pickup for your mids and your treble. So in that way, then you can pan between the pickups, but if you're going for them dead center, then that's taking care of all your bottom end, your mid frequencies, and your top end. So that's kind of what I do. Rather than try to encapsulate separate sounds in each pickup, I'll pan to the bass pickup, set that up, pan to the back pickup, set that up, and then hit it into the center position so that I'm getting both pickups at the same time. I don't tend to solo Alembic pickups when I'm playing it in performance. And actually, in my experience, when I've done that, I always think both pickups don't sound great on their own soloed. Yet once you combine them, suddenly there's power and heft, clarity, really good frequency control. And then from that point, I can tailor things a little. It's quite it's a different experience than, so if I'm using a Status and I've got 3-band EQ, I then go to using an Alembic. It's a different tonal palette, but if you learn how to work it and make it sound how you want it to sound, it's actually not that bad. Some people get caught up and they can't find their sounds, and it's just practice, really. Some people kind of, their brains explode when they're using an Alembic. It's like, too much, too many options. No, it's not that hard. You just got to learn it. It's another thing to learn, but very worthwhile, I can assure you. John Cooper, good to see you. Hope you're well. What were you saying? Just popping in to say a quick hello for 20 minutes. Hope everyone's well. John, Uncle Funk, playing Up Your Way on Saturday. I can't remember if you're already booked. I think you are out gigging. But if you're not, we're playing at Sawbridgeworth Memorial Hall this Saturday. If you want to come along, I can sort guest lists, sort tickets. If you want to bring friends, I can do all of that. Let me know. I'm guessing you're booked and you're out playing. But if you're not, or suddenly someone in the band or a couple in the band fall ill, you end up available Saturday. If you want to come along, let me know. You got my email address anyway. You know how to do all that. So, but the offer is there. And I'll reiterate, anyone here watching Brooksy's Bass Corner live chat 92 this Saturday, the 14th of December, if you want to come along to the Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno Christmas show in Sawbridgeworth in Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Essex way, you are more than welcome. Don't need to pay for tickets. I can get you in. John, yes, we're gigging in Marlow, my neck of the woods, on Saturday. Would love to have come. Thanks, though. No problem. We do have some gigs around your way in early spring, so maybe I'll see you at one of those. How's that Status going? Enjoying yourself? Hope you've got to grips with that. You'll be there. Okay. I think we are at, I can tell you actually, if I quickly call up the diary, I think we're in Ware in the middle of March. I think there's some other dates, and there'll be other things that come in as well. Let's look here. That's a private party, so you can't come to that. And then I've got ABBA and March, yes. 15th of March. It's a Saturday. We're playing at Ware Drill Hall. We play there every year now. So if you want to come to that, you are more than welcome. I can sort tickets for that as well. No problem. Good man. Here we are. It's 9:05 here in London town, here in the UK. Live chat 92 here on Brooksy's Bass Corner, revving up to Christmas. This is the penultimate live chat before we get to the big day. We've got one more live chat, which is next week on Tuesday from 8 p.m. And then, as I said, we're getting a little break over Christmas, and I'm going to try rolling out some Saturday live chats, see if that works for you guys and other people who tend not to come here on the live chats because they're at work. Certainly in the US, my US contingent struggled to join in on the live chats. They just said, we're at work, can't do it. Jeffrey Boyle, good to see you. John Cooper, what's that? Well, on Monday, I was at Status in Colchester. Very good. Was invited into Rob's workshop. Super. Phenomenal. He's fixing the broken volume pot and giving it a full service. There you go. Excellent. Hope he was well. Hope so. Haven't seen Rob since... last time I saw Rob would have been at the Gizmodrome gig in 2018. So that shows you how long ago that was. Yeah, I haven't seen him since. So I hope he's well. I do speak to Dawn occasionally by email. So I hope everything's well over at Status HQ. He still uses the same 1980s 4x10 Trace Elliott. Yes, he does, to check everything through. Yeah, he does. That's the sound he knows and loves. So, yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that. It's under the workbench, isn't it? The worktop. Hidden under there. Rob's all good. Dawn was there too. What a lovely couple. Quite. Couldn't agree more. I need to get over there at some point. Not that I'm buying anything. I've got all the statuses I require at the moment. But yeah. I do a lot over that way. I do a lot of gigs over that way, Colchester, Essex way with Uncle Funk. So the problem is most of them tend to be Saturdays. So they're not there on a Saturday. And weekday gigs, usually you're running the gauntlet, trying to get up the A12 to where you've got to get to. Unless you leave ridiculously early and you can pre-book in advance that you want to go there, there's no time to do it. But such is life, c'est la vie. 'Tis what it is. Yeah, so if you're here, you're watching the live chat, if you want to join in by video or audio, you can do so. Just email me. There's an email running along the bottom of the screen, the ticker. brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. Email me. I'll send you an invite. You click on the link and then you can come here live on screen. If you don't want your face to be shown, you can do it by audio. You just turn off the camera at your end, or I can turn off your camera at this end if you want me to do it. And that's all good. That's all good. That's what the StreamYard facility is here for. That's why I took up a StreamYard subscription, let you guys come in on video, get involved. You felt very honoured. You were ogling at all the beautiful basses, including five new basses for Chris Wolstenholme. Especially the one with selectable 3-colour neck LEDs. Does he need any more? Really? Really? I've never understood bass celebs that, you know, they've got a huge collection of gear. Really. And then they get 5 new ones. Now that's fine, unless they're all doing new things that we don't know about. But if it's just another 5 models with the same EQ, crazy. But having said that, if they're being paid for and it keeps status going, then fabulous. John Cooper Clark. Is this your... is this Jeff Boyle? Is this your playing hero? John Cooper Clark, did he get you into playing? Or are you playing on John's name? Our regular John here. So like I say, got a bunch of new pedals here. Went out and took the plunge on these Sonicake pedals, micro pedals. You can have two in your hands. So I'll be doing some demo and review videos of these shortly. Do some comparison videos as well. Let's see how they actually stack up against the pedals I already have on my pedal board. Particularly interested to know how the Octaver sounds, because let's be fair, no two octave pedals seem to sound the same. Jeff Boyle, the poet, exactly. Yes, John Cooper Clarke. Sorry, I'm in mid-December gig mode and my head's a bit fried at the moment, so gags just sort of fly over my head. It's I already had to have a little snooze this afternoon because I'd done 2 dog walks this morning. I did a power walk for myself to blow a few cobwebs out of the brain, and came back, started on a bit of work and thought, you're flagging. And you've got a live chat to do tonight, so I had to grab an hour and a half sleep before tonight's live chat. I'm not 20 anymore. All those late nights add up, you know. How I did 23 shows in 2011 during the month of December, I've got no idea. Different time back then. I was a younger chap. But, yeah, 2011, I did 23 shows. Crazy. There's no chance of getting that level of work, really, these days. Unless you're in... There is one band, there's a function band called, funnily enough, The Function Band. And they posted up last year that they had something like 31 gigs in the whole of December. And I don't know... I mean... I don't know that many gigs that happen early in the week anymore. You get the occasional party or corporate function, but you've got to be going seriously good to manage to fill your diary in that well. And when there was a lot more pubs and stuff, it was easier to do that. So for a function band to do that and fill the Sundays as well, you must have some serious social media coverage. You must be with a lot of agencies as well. But if they can do it, good for them. You know, I've never been in a band that was able to do that. Even with our best intentions, the best we could do was 23 in my old covers band. And we were a smaller band, obviously, than this function band. So we could work with people's budgets, you know. We could do gigs and it wouldn't be such a huge outlay for them. But, yeah, those were the days. Jeff Boyle, you must have been on autopilot back then. I think we kind of were. We you know, you'd be booking up from like 12 months in advance for the following December. And at the time, we had a lot of returning clients and returning customers. So for a while, we would get 2 or 3 shows at Goodwood here in the South Coast. We would do their dinner dances. So if they had Thursday night, every Thursday in December, a dinner dance, we would be the band that were doing it. Then they started booking us for their New Year's Eve show. So that would take care of 4 dates. There was a hotel up in Lincolnshire where we would do Friday and Saturday, every Friday, Saturday in December. So then that takes care of another 4, 5, 6 gigs. Then you'd have your regular bread and butter gigs that you could fit in. And then you might end up with a couple of dates where you might have 2 gigs in one night at 2 different places. And then you'd get a smattering of weddings and a few other bits and bobs. And it was good. It was good. We used to do very well, actually, in the period between Christmas and New Year. So we might get a couple of weddings. Again, it would depend on how the calendar fell regarding weekdays. So if there were a Saturday and a Sunday in the patch between Christmas and New Year, chances are you're going to get a good gig on the Saturday, maybe on the Friday as well, and New Year's Eve, and anything else that was going. And there were a couple of years where we did maybe like Boxing Day, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st, and the 1st. A gig on New Year's Day, rarity these days. But that's the way it used to sort of pan out. And you could seriously fill your diary up with all of that. John Cooper, I was at a wedding on Saturday with a really good function band, but keys, guitar, bass and drums all going through a single floor monitor. What they lacked in sound, they made up for in enthusiasm. Do you know who they were, John? What was the band name? Give them a shout out. Shout out. Yeah, it's the way. Sadly, it's the way it goes now. I mean, we're very lucky in Uncle Funk. We're doing everything on IEM, so there's no backline. And it's all working very nicely for us, but some of the younger bands can't afford the setup we've got. And so that's what they're doing, plugging in and going through a single monitor. I mean, I just dread to think what that's going to sound like. But you take it, you get the work. If that's what the venue requires, that's what it's going to be. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wedding venues that rip clients off. The client is none the wiser. They don't know when they're making the booking that even though the venue says, oh, yes, we can have live music, they don't realise there's a sound limiter, there are noise reduction, they can't go over a stupidly low decibel limit. And then the band get booked and then they find out and it's like, this is going to sound really bad. And then you go and do it. And the client's like, this doesn't sound like the band that I saw playing before. And then I booked you. And it's like, well, you've booked the venue. This is what they require. You know, they won't let us play above a certain sound level. Some of those places now have their own in-house sound system. You can't plug into anything but there. You literally have to all plug into a mixer, no backline. Take a feed out of your mixer into their system. That's it. They're in complete control of the volumes. And it just destroys the whole night. And there's more and more of these. Actually, I'm kind of glad now that I'm not in a position where I have to do these bookings. I used to do it. And it was becoming increasingly frustrating. And I always said to wedding clients, if you're thinking of booking us, and even if they came up to us at a gig and said, we'd like you to be the band at our wedding, we haven't booked the venue yet, I would say, please check with me before you book the venue. Tell me their details and what they're telling you you can have before you book it. Because if you commit and you pay the deposit and it's what we would call a bad venue, there's nothing we can do. But if you tell me in advance, I can advise you. And I can contact the venue and find out the details before you even book. We saved a few couples some anguish on their wedding day. John says, yes, they were young lads. Luke and Mo, not heard of them. They were featured on BBC Music introducing. Okay. So obviously they're an originals band, but they do weddings to pay the bills. Join the club. We've all been there. Okay, well, Luke and Mo, I'm giving you a shout out on the recommendation of Mr. John Cooper. Keep doing what you're doing, lads. And lasses, if there were girls involved as well, of course. So, topic of conversation tonight here on Live Chat 92, here on Brooksy's Bass Corner, all the way from London town, the UK. What made you fall for bass? What made you fall in love with bass guitar? What got you on the road? What made you take up bass? Was it a particular famous player? Was it an album? Maybe a song? Maybe a single that you heard on the radio and thought, I like that. I want to do it. Let me know. Let us know. What got you started? What got you up and running? Maybe you're just starting out now and maybe you've seen a famous bass player or seen a band or a performer and thought, bass player looks kind of cool. I'd like to have a go at that. If you are one of those, best of luck on your journey. We've all been there. Mine started 37 years ago. 1987, October. And that was it. Picked one up, and that was it. That was me. I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And here we are 37 years later, and it's been a good ride, you know. Paid my mortgage off, given me a good standard of living, seen the world, met lots of friends, met lots of idols, still doing it. So it can be done. It can be done. More challenging now for the people starting out now, that's for sure. Fewer venues to play, far more competition, way too many bands, not enough gigs, but it is what it is. As Don Henley said, I'll try and put this politely so I don't get any trouble from YouTube. SHIT don't float. So if you're good at it and your band's good, you'll do well. If you work at it, make it a business, turn it into a way to earn a living, you can do very nicely. Take it seriously, and people will take you seriously. If you don't take it seriously and you think it's just a bit of a laugh, then don't be surprised if people don't take you seriously. Dawson, you saw Geezer Butler twice with Sabbath. Got to see the wild pedal in action. Excellent. Jeff Boyle, Day Tripper riff. Classic McCartney. Absolutely. John Cooper, first year of sixth form. My friend had a K Rickenbacker copy, lent it to me to start a band, and you wanted to be Mark King. That's the story for a lot of people of our vintage. Yeah, I get it. Actually, one of my questions for Barry at the Bass Centre when we do his next interview, I want to know, and I'm going to ask him, what was the uptake of basses and amplifiers, specifically Red JDs and Trace Elliott 4x10s, especially combos, the day and week after Live at Wembley was broadcast on BBC One in 1987. I suspect there was a very large uptake, and probably would, if he went back through the accounts, he would see that's probably one of his biggest weeks of selling gear ever at the old Wapping Bass Centre. And I suspect the day and week after the classic albums episode for Paul Simon's Graceland, how many fretless basses were sold the day after and that week? And that was in 1998 that was on broadcast on TV. I'm interested to know. And there will be other things, like if you chart through from 84 through to 2004 when the Bass Centre moved, where things were on TV to a mass audience, that there was suddenly a big spike in particular basses or brands. I'm sure Kubicki's went through the roof the week after Duran Duran were on the Tube in 87. What was selling hot the week after Live Aid? Probably quite a few Alembics sold after John Entwistle's performance with the Who at Live Aid, because that bass tone turned my head. I wasn't playing bass. 1985, I would have been 13. But there was something about Entwistle's tone. I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know nothing about bass guitars. Didn't know I was going to become a bass player. And Entwistle's tone on that, I was like, wow, what is that? And I remember they did like a roundup show that Christmas and New Year, going back over Live Aid and Band Aid, and they showed the highlights, and the Who again were on there. And that bass tone, and it stuck with me. It was a combination of the Alembics, Rotor Sound strings, the way Entwistle played, of course, and his amplification. And I was like, wow. So when I started playing bass and his name cropped up, oh, he uses Alembic, I was like, right. And that kind of lodged that seed. So I was aware of Entwistle's tone on that bass. Stanley Clarke playing Alembics. Mark King had just started playing Alembics. It was like, right, okay. I get it. This is something to aspire to. That's like top level instruments. Of course, now I've got 3. Very much appreciated, of course. And all 3 sound totally different. So, 'tis what it is. In fact, I may even be daring enough to bring one of those out this weekend on the Uncle Funk show. So if anyone's coming down, who knows what basses I might have. I might bring 3. Who knows? Give a couple of different things a run out. Yes, Jeff Boyle, the Ox, much missed. But, yeah. I'm sure when Queen were doing their Magic Tour in 86, I'm sure the Bass Centre sold a lot of Black Precisions. I bet. John Cooper, do you have the same strings on your basses? No, I don't. I think we've talked about this on various live chats, but maybe not on one that you've watched, John. So strings for me. So I'm a Rotor Sound Endorsee. Used to be Picato Endorsee. Used Piccato from 97 up until 2015. And little did I know that Piccato were about to stop. So nowadays, in 2024, Piccato is a brand name owned by Strings and Things. Piccato used to be a company that fell under the Strings and Things umbrella. They had their own factory, their own machines in Wales. Piccato strings were fabulous. But around 2014, start of 2015, I noticed the quality was dropping. I would order 20 sets at a time, and the E and A strings were not good. They were dead. I'd keep having to send them back, and they'd send me more, and they were still dead. And so didn't know the company was winding down. Their lease on the building they were in was being wound down. And eventually their machines were sold to Rotor Sound. So that's a thing. In 2015, I spent about £300-400 of my own money buying up lots of different brands of strings, different gauges, different materials. I thought it's time to reevaluate your string requirements. Had quite a lot of basses here, but so what I did was I took the 4 main basses that I was out gigging with, strung them up with different strings, and saw how they went. And over a period of time, it was fairly obvious to me, my ears, how they were wearing out, dying off. I decided to go with Rotor Sound. That's fine. Loads of different types of strings in the Rotor Sound range, which is great. But the thing is with basses, you can go down the route of sticking with one brand, one gauge, one material, but they're not going to necessarily be the best brand, gauge, material for that particular bass. And I've seen this over and over and over again over the years with my own collection, other people's basses, but also all the basses I've reviewed for the magazines. So my go-to for years and years and years was always 4000s, steel round wounds. Doesn't matter on the brand. That's what I would use. Then when I started to experiment with different brands, gauges, materials, different sounds were coming out of different basses, and it was like, whoa, okay. So now I have a thing that if I'm using an Alembic, Status, GB, looking through the range here, those sort of basses, and especially if it's a 2/2 headstock formation, steel round wounds. I'm not a fan of nickels. I like round wound strings. 4000s, that's what I go with. If it's a Fender or a Music Man or something with a 4 in a row or a 3/1 headstock style, 4505s, steel, round wounds predominantly, might sometimes be half wounds, or in Rotor Sound language, pressure wound. So I like half wounds on different basses. I tend to put them on my electroacoustic basses. On acoustic basses, I don't like flat wounds. Too big and bulky, unless that's a tone that I need. That died off thing can work on a electroacoustic, but I like half wounds, so I tend to use those on those. Flat wounds I keep for precision and a jazz. So I have those tones. If someone said, I want an old 60s Motown, Stax, Atlantic, soul sound, great. Well, I've got a precision and a jazz with both of those strung up, ready to go. Dingwalls are a different thing, obviously, because of the extended scale length, and you need taper cores at the, or taper windings at the bridge and the nut. Spectre are different as well. So I tried 4000s on a Spectre. The low strings were great, but the upper strings, just the strings kept coming off the fingerboard. The G string, obviously. So then I went for 4505s and didn't like the bottom end. It was too overpowering. Didn't like the feel of the strings. So I had a custom gauge done. So on Spectre basses, I have 100, 80 for the E and A string, and then I have 4505 for the D and G. So that's like a compromise, a hybrid. So that's what works on that bass. I'm just looking through the racks here. Kubicki's I used to do 4000s on, realised they were too baggy. Phil Kubicki said to me, you want 4505s on there. He said, don't be a slave to your string gauge. 4505s work on medium scale basses. They will feel slinkier and thinner than they actually do because you've got less tension because it's a medium scale. So at that time, I was playing in bands that were concert tuned. When I was playing my old covers band, we always played semitone down tuning. So with the Kabiki, I had to tune it down a semitone, and I was using 4000s. It was just way too baggy. It was like playing rubber strings. Not good. I've had 4505s on my Kabikis since 2002. Great. Love them. No problem. Let's have a look. My Aria has 4505s. My Aria Super Bass. 5 strings. I tend to like a 125 B string, but it depends on the gauge, depends on the bass, depends on the scale length as well. So I have a mixture of 34 and 35 inch 5 strings. The Dingwall obviously is I think that's 35 on the low B. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do really. So yeah, so don't be a slave to your strings. Don't think I can only go with one brand, one gauge. Mix it up a bit. And I bet if you went out and spent 100 quid on strings, maybe buy 5 different sets by 5 different manufacturers, you might find something that totally reinvigorates your bass. I did on numerous basses here. I went from one brand to another, and it was like, whoa, this is very different. Suddenly I'm hearing things in that bass from those electronics and that pickup I've never heard before. And now I still have some Picato sets in the workshop. And if I move with one bass between Picatos and Rotor Sound, or maybe even something else, obviously I've got some DRs here that are going to be going on various basses in the coming weeks when I get in the workshop. The feel is different. The tone is different. The way they perform is different. So don't get locked into one thing when it comes to strings. You may well find one bass just performs really well with a brand, but none of your other basses work if you use that string. It's a weird thing, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, don't get tied into one thing. Even if you're in Dorsey, you know, I do use Rotor Sound on predominantly all my basses, but then there's a couple of basses have got different things on. My Status 2000 over here has got Picato 4000 double ball ends on. Mainly because I haven't had to restring it in quite a while. And I've not deadened those strings off, so I don't need to put a set of Rotor Sounds on it at the moment. When it next needs strings, it will get a set of Rotor Sounds. I've got the double ball end strings ready to go. So, yeah, there we are. So that's my take. If you've got any insights on strings and basses and how different strings work on different basses, then please share. So if you want to come in by video, we can have a video discussion about strings if anyone wants to join in. Send me an email, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll send you an invite. You click on the invite and it will bring you straight through here to the live chat. More than happy. If we want to have 3 or 4 of us talking about bass strings and what works best on what basses, we can do that. I can take 8 of you on a live chat at one point. So if you want to tell us about your basses and which strings you prefer, which gauges, maybe you do just use one brand, one gauge, one material for all your guitars if you've got a couple or more. I wanted to go down that route, but as the collection got bigger, it was some of them just don't work on certain basses, and I'd always tried to make 4000s work on Fenders and Stingrays Music Man basses, but in the end I just gave up. It was just, no, I need a thicker string on these to make it work, make it sound good. John Cooper, great advice on strings. That's all right. That's what I'm here for. I've always stuck to the Dario Nichols. See, I can't work with Nichols. I've tried over and over again. A couple of my basses have come with Nichols, and so until they're dead and ready to go, I'll just use them as like a practice bass. I do like the Dario Pro Steels though. I got given 4 sets years ago by Steve Harvey when he was the editor of Bass Guitar magazine. He said, "Try these, see what you think," and I loved them. But they weren't the perfect string for me. But I really like them, and I've still got a set in the garage, and I'm thinking of putting them on one of the Alembics, see how they sound. So yeah, I've always stuck to the Dario Nichols on my thumb bass, of course. All I played for 20 years. That's cool. Then put the same on the status. May mix it up now and ask Santa for something new. Yeah. So on a headless status, so you've got the Series 2, haven't you? It's really a case of what gauge you want. So if you're going to go down the Mark King route, then you're looking at 3090s or whatever you want. But don't be afraid to create your own hybrid gauges, because it makes a huge difference to what you do and how you sound. And I learned many years ago that 3090s was not going to work for me. Now, if all you're doing is playing at home and you're just doing it for your own entertainment, that's great. But in terms of playing in a band, unless your band covers the frequency spectrum that really does allow you to use 3090s, you're going to find you probably need something a little meatier. And generally that starts around 4000 if you're the only bass end in the band. If there's bass tracks or bass synth or bass keys, you can kind of get away with the lighter gauges, but you will find you go through those strings at a rapid rate when you're gigging them regularly. Whereas a heavier string will last a bit longer. And for those of you who've seen the Bass String Experiment series here on the channel, I got 73 shows out of a set of 4000 Rotosound steel strings on my Status Empathy. 73 shows. I think it came out at... Hang on, I'll tell you what it came out at per gig in cost. So if we said a set of Rotosounds averaged... They go up and down in price, but let's say they were 25 quid. Divided by 73... 34 pence per show. I think I got my money's worth. But that's what worked for that bass. So my Status Empathy does have 4000 Rotosound steel strings. John Cooper, yeah, 3090's too light for me. 4000s or even 45 to 100 as on my thumb. Yeah, there you go. There's a hybrid gauge. And Rotosound do hybrid gauges already in a pack. Or you can buy them as individual strings. It's all good. Most manufacturers cater for all this now. They know that people want different gauges on different basses and what have you. Dawson, what strings break the most? Well, it's probably going to be a G string. It's going to break the most because it's the thinnest one. I've had many D strings snap over the years, and I have had E and A strings snap. It does happen. Sometimes it's a manufacturing issue. Sometimes it can be burrs on your bridge saddles, so where a bit of metal is rutted up. Sometimes with round wound strings, especially steel, they will dig a groove into your saddle, and you kind of have to have some files to just grind it away. And if you don't, when you put a new set of strings in, the windings don't necessarily correlate with where the old windings have eaten into the metal, into the grooves. And those top edges will create a sharp edge, and it'll not gnaw, but work away at the winding on the string, and they'll snap. So for beginners, I would say arm yourself with a file suitable for rounding out a bridge saddle, or even just taking the top off a metal burr, because it'll save you a fortune in repair costs, having to keep taking it to a bass luthier or whoever does your basses, sets your basses up. You can do it yourself. It's not a big job. It's relatively easy. You can't go wrong. All you're doing is filing away at metal, and it doesn't need much. All you're doing is taking, if you run your finger across it, you'll feel it, and you can just do it yourself. In my younger days, I would take it to a bass store and let them do it, and then they charged me 30 quid for the privilege. It was like, now I look back and think, why didn't someone just show me how to do that? But there we are. But yeah, I've had all of the strings. I've never had a low B snap, but then I don't play 5 string a lot. So And I've had brand new strings put on a bass, and within a gig or two, just go, even when they've been stretched in. Stretching in is for strings is very important. So if you watched any of the workshop videos here on Brooksy's Bass Corner, you'll know that I advise very strongly that when you put a new set of strings on, stretch them in. I can't say it loud enough. Stretch them in. If you just put the strings on and start playing, they're going to go very badly out of tune very quick. And the strings take time to settle in. If you stretch them in, it's almost like having a bow and arrow. So hold the neck, get the strings, and just waggle them. Not a technical term. Just waggle the strings. It will go out of tune. Tune it back up the pitch. Do it again. Until such a point that you can waggle it and it doesn't go drastically out of tune. It'll go out of tune a bit, and then they'll stabilize. And once you've done a gig, they're pretty much settled in. If you're changing strings at home prior to a gig, you want to do all this stretching in, let them settle for a couple of hours or a day, play it a bit at home, and then before you leave for your gig, tune up, stretch them in again, and you're ready to go. John Cooper, I've only ever broken one string on a gig. You haven't done enough gigs, John. The G string at the end of a student gig in '94, supporting Bad Manners. Yeah, I've done that as well. I've supported Bad Manners on a few occasions. Too much slapping and plucking. See, I've had strings slap just playing normal fingerstyle. It's not always slapping and plucking that causes it. Had to play last four songs with three strings. Yeah, done that. There's a photo, or there's a couple of photos from when I was doing a run of gigs in a lat in 2014. I'm wearing a denim shirt. And the A string, was it the A string or the D string? I can't remember. One of them went. We were playing Hotel California, which relies on arpeggios, most of it. And you need those three lower strings to be able to play it. And I got to the end, but it was the brain was in like overdrive, making sure I could get all the notes on just two strings. So happy days. That's what experience teaches you. You learn how to, whichever string is going, can I work around it at least until I can either get to the end of the song and pick another bass up, or if you're going to be able to get to a break in the show, then you can restring. Dawson, G's snap the most. Well, they're the thinnest string, you see. And if you've got a burr on the bridge saddle, it's a thin piece of metal on a sharp edge. So it's no one, especially if you bend strings or you play hard, it's going to wear away. And it'll wear away at the metal winding. And before you know, ping, and it just goes. And time for a new string. Just the way it is. So yeah, let's just check on the live stream health. Just check we're all good. Yes, we are. That's excellent. And that's all good too. And we've got that, and that's fine. Good. Coming up at 9:45 here in London town, here in the UK. Live chat 92 here on break. Go again. Just give them a little check there in. Live chat 92 here on Brooksy's Bass Corner. You're very welcome. You got any questions about bass guitars, bass gear? Maybe you're taking up bass playing. Maybe you're thinking of getting a bass for Christmas. Maybe you're a mum and dad looking to buy your kid a bass. If I can help in any way, offer some advice, give you a few pointers, that's what I'm here for. More than happy to help. Go to the chat window. So if you're on the mobile app, it's directly below. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. At the bottom, you'll see there's a text box. Leave a chat message. Press send. It will appear here in my feed. And then I can respond to it. And if I don't know the answer, I can throw it open to the floor. And one of the fine people that regularly frequents the Brooksy's Bass Corner live chat will be able to help as well. All good. There's a couple of messages there. Dawson, do I prefer down picking, alternative picking, or depends on the song? Depends on the song. I don't always play with a pick for a start. I'm very much a fingers. It's not even a word. Finger player. But in the past 6 to 7 years, I've been playing a lot more with a pick because of the projects I've been playing in. So when I do a Queen tribute, it's a mixture of fingers and picking. When I do Oasis, again, it's a mixture of fingers and picking. When I do ABBA, it's all fingers. Uncle Funk, Disco Inferno, that's all fingers. So it just depends. I do a mixture, and I've become more aware of how my picking style for certain songs, certain bands. I do a mixture. And sometimes on a gig, I might do a different version of how I normally pick it. So, and it can change. It can change how the song sounds. It can change how the bass line sounds, depending on how you do it. So, you know, play around with all these things. Let your ear hear the differences and the nuances. It can change things quite a bit. Different picking with fingers. Like sometimes I'll play a song and I'm just using one finger, or I might use two. Sometimes I might do three. I can't say I ever really use four, but I do use three quite often, especially if it's a diddle a diddle a diddle a diddle a diddle a diddle, or bum 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 bum. If I'm doing 16ths or 8ths, I might throw in a third finger just to change it up, or do an alternate finger. So 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 2 1. So there's all different options. These are all the little tools that you build for yourself as you become sort of more proficient on the instrument. You'll find different ways of playing things, different ways to attack the strings. It all makes a big difference. John Cooper, mate, really enjoying tonight's chat. No worries, you've got to go. I understand. We'll catch the rest on catch up. See you next Tuesday. Look forward to it, mate. Thanks, Mike. Much appreciated as always. Good night, all. Take care of yourself. Have a good gig at the weekend, mate. Hope it all goes well for you. That was John. Kizzy likes White Masters. Okay, you're very welcome here. Good to see you. I don't think we've seen you here on the live chat before or on the channel. Hope your bass playing's going well. Where are you based, Kizzy? You personally prefer picking. That's all perfectly acceptable. But whatever floats your boat. Totally agree. Totally agree. Never had a problem with pick players. I don't see why people get so angry and upset that people might play with fingers or a pick, or they slap, or they it's all different flavors. It's different tools in your box of bass playing tools. Get all those things under your belt. You got options when you do auditions, when you play for different bands, all those things. You're loving the chat. Well, thank you very much. Please feel free to give the chat a thumbs up. Feel free to share it out to social media if you wish. Leave comments. All very much appreciated in advance. Dawson, you got to run. See you later. Take care. Hopefully see you next week before we get to Christmas. Some guy, welcome. Good to see you. You're a finger player. Very good. You went to Guitar Center last week and bought the pink 5-string Ernie Ball Super Slinky pack. Okay. Have you fitted them, and how did you get on with them? I can't remember what gauge Super Slinky is. Are they 4505? Because I think the 4000s are called hybrids. And I think... So that would be 4505 with a low B. So I think that's 130, isn't it? Have you fitted them? What have you fitted them to? What bass have you fitted them to? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, I've had Super Slinkies before. Obviously, they tend to sound pretty good on Stingrays and Music Man basses. There was something about them I just didn't get on with. And I do like, and I know a lot of players don't like, but I do like the way rotor sounds feel. So I like swing bass. It's something to grip onto. They're very tactile strings. And okay, some people go, oh, they eat your frets. Well, I've been using rotor sounds pretty predominantly for almost 10 years. I haven't got any basses that need refretting or dressing. I do periodic dressing when need to be, but it's different on different basses and different fret materials. So the bass I generally use rotor sounds on will be my GBs, Statuses, my Alembics. None of them have had refrets done or major fret dressing. Literally, when I do a setup, I will check the frets, and if they need a little bit, I'll do it. But generally, they haven't needed it. So I've been using those strings almost 10 years. So, and before that, with piccatos, they're very little fret wear, to be honest. Their windings were slightly smoother than rotor sound. Can be a bit harsh. Some people don't like them, they chew their fingers up. I don't mind it. It's actually on some gigs, certainly when you're outdoors, different weather elements at play. Big gig, big stage, monitors might not be great. You got some rotor sounds on, you got something to grip onto playing that bass. And just a personal thing. Some players like it, some players don't, but for me it kind of works. But then, like I say, I've got other basses with different strings on. They all have their idiosyncrasies, I guess, different tones, different feels. What was that? There was a bass I took out. I'm trying to think, just bear me a minute. I took a bass out on a gig the other day. What was it? I hadn't played it for a while and I just thought, really like the strings on this. I'm trying to think what's in my gig bag. It was actually, I know what it was. It was my GB Rumour, the Kingfisher Blue one. And it's got an old set of rotor sounds on. So they've been on for like 3.5 years. Like autumn 2021 they went on. They played to death. But they felt really good. So they didn't have the gnarliness that a set of swing bass rotor sound steel strings would have. That's all been played out of them. But they had a really nice tone, nice feel. They were on the bass I was using last night, actually. But they're going to get changed. So they're going to be getting, I think I'm going to put some Piccato 4000s on that bass. And that will be a workshop video here in the next week or so. So I had planned on using today and tomorrow to do a load of workshop filming, but today hasn't happened. Might happen tomorrow. But if it doesn't, it will be in that run of filming next week when I've got 4 days off. So going to be taking, I think, about 6 or 7 basses into the workshop, filming them all. They'll all have their own individual videos. They all need restringing. There's a couple of basses need foam replacing under the pickups. There's some setting up to do. All need a good clean. So that's all coming your way. Some guy, they're not on yet. These are 42 125s. Okay, these are for the Ibanez I replaced the tuners on. Very good. Let us know how you get on with that. With those strings on that bass. So it's going on an Ibanez SR405. Very good. Very good. Let us know once they're on. How do they sound, you know? Do they die off quick? Or do you get like a load of string life out of them? It's all good stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I did a series of videos. You may have seen them, you may not. Let me just find it here. We did a run of videos, and when I can find the tab I'm looking for, if you go to playlists, you're looking for the bass string experiment. So where's that? I will put a link in the chat. If you want to check it out, you can. So that's there. Here we go. So I can't remember how many videos there are in this. So there were 35 videos from start to finish, and then there was a complete journey video, which is video 36, which basically takes all the talking at the gigs and the footage when I'm talking about them, but not the sections where I'm here in the studio going through the idiosyncrasies. So literally it's going gig to gig to gig to gig, and I give you an update as much as I can on what's going on with them. So if you want to check that out, feel free. Here's a link. That's the whole playlist. So that's all 36 videos. If you just want to look at the roundup of the final one, I can give you a link for that. Easy enough. So if you're suffering with sleep deprivation, you can't get to sleep, this is a great video to watch. I guarantee you'll be asleep after about 4 gigs. So, uh, but it's a good watch. I actually watched some of it the other day. I thought, God, did we actually do all those? But we did. I thought the strings would last 35 gigs tops, and they lasted for 73, which was a fair old trek, to be fair. But it worked, they worked, and they still didn't snap. And I probably could have done a few more gigs with them, but I was hearing overtones on my IEMs, and there was like a blurriness in the actual quality of the tone. And I thought, at some point, one of these is going to snap, and I don't want it to happen. And I'm now not happy with the tone I'm getting. So they were dead. There was no response from them. When you played a note, it just sort of died. Like the sustain wasn't great. And I just thought, nah, we'll just hedge our bets here and call an end. Sabir Geese job application. Okay. Does anyone here know the Horst Vessel line? That's one of my favourites. Is that a song? I don't know. You're very welcome here, but we're talking bass guitars. So I don't know what you're talking about. If anyone knows what this guy's talking about, let me know, because I have not got a clue what you're talking about. You're very welcome here, but we're talking bass guitars, all right? So if you want to talk bass guitars, that's fabulous. If you don't, I'm just coming on here for a bit of a lark. Carry on and I'll block you. I don't care if it's on the guitar, piano, or violin. It's a beautiful melody. Okay, that's very good. I suspect no one does, but you're very welcome. In your opinion, of course. That's fine. No worries. So you're here on Brooksy's Bass Corner, live chat 92, coming to you all the way from London town, here in the UK. It is just coming up to 10 o'clock here. Hope you're all safe and well. Hope your bass playing's going well. If I can help you in any way with bass guitars, bass amps, bass pedals, bass accessories, strings, gig bags, leads, cleaning materials, setting your bass up, building a pedal board, helping you do your first bass audition, how to get through a month of gigs. If I can help in any way, let me know. Leave a message in the chat window. Put your cursor or pointer in the chat box at the bottom. Leave your message. Press send. It'll appear here in my chat window. You probably can play it on bass, sir. But I don't really know what you're referring to. It's obviously maybe a classical piece. Yeah. If anyone wants to contribute to this guy chatting, then feel free. So we will be back next Tuesday for live chat 93. Last one before Christmas, of course. We'll be here from 8 p.m. We're still going here, of course. I'm not winding tonight's live chat up. But yeah. So again, thank you to all the new subscribers on the channel. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares. Everything in the analytics is pointing green and upwards, so which means the channel's going in the right direction. So thank you for anyone who's contributed to the channel in the last week. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. Come on in for the journey. If you get on board the bus, we have a good old time here on the live chats. If you find anything of use here on the channel, in the videos, then please give it a thumbs up. Leave comments, share out to social media. It's all very much appreciated. Erica, I don't know what you're referring to. I appreciate your comments, but I don't know what you're referring to. Where are you based? I'm suggesting probably Far East, Middle East, maybe, going on your name. I don't know. But anyway. Are you a bass player? I'm guessing you're not. Would you like any help or advice with bass playing? I will try my best. At the moment, your comments are challenging because I don't really know what you're asking. But you can help the channel. You can help this live chat video if you wish. Please give the video a thumbs up. If you're going to give it a thumbs down, then please let me know what you don't like or what you don't enjoy. That's how I can improve the videos. Please leave comments, share the video out to social media, and if you wish to hit the subscribe button, that would be fabulous as well. I don't actively ask for subscribers. I think it's a vanity metric. It doesn't correlate to anything, but if you want to subscribe to the channel, feel free. Some guy, do you stretch your new strings out manually? Yes, I do. So if you check any of the workshop videos, I can put links in the chat window if you want. Alternatively, go into the channel, go to the playlists, find the workshop videos. There's a bunch of them there, and I show you how to do it. So basically, you put a set of strings on, cut the winding length to what you require, string them up. Once you've got all 4 strings on there, tune the bass up to concert pitch. Then grab your bass. I can show you. Let me just grab any bass. Doesn't matter which one. We have a bass. Let me just hide your comment there. We'll take that off as well. So I've got a bass here. Actually, let's expand the window, shall we? Cool. So I've got a bass here. Stretch the strings easy. Okay, so let me just get it so the camera can see what we're doing here. Just grab the string, grab the neck, and all you're doing is that's stretching a string. Do it along most of the length of the string. You then tune it up. It will be out of tune. Tune it back up to concert pitch. Do it again. And eventually there comes a point with a new set of strings where after 3 or 4 stretches in, you'll notice each time you go to tune it, it's less out of tune than it was before. And eventually you get to a point where doing that will probably you'll get a couple of notches off. And it's very easy just to go, don't tune it back up, and it'll be in. Then you really want to be playing it. And a period of about 5-10 minutes of fairly active playing. Could be slapping, fingerstyle, picking, whatever. And while I'm playing, I'll do some things, and then I'll stretch them again, and then I'll retune, and I'll play again. And eventually you get to a point where it's not really going out of tune drastically. Then you're good to go. If you don't do all of that, you just change the strings and go out on a gig, heaven help you. I did it once. Not the best idea I ever had. And generally, once you do the stretching in, you're far less likely to get snapping strings. And again, if you've got sharp metal burrs on a bridge saddle, you've got to file it down. So having either like a small set of files that you carry in your gig bag or in your gig case, just have them always on hand, because you never know when that might develop. If you're on a gig and string snaps, and I've had it, look at the bridge, run my finger across it, and there's a sharp edge, and you just know that's the point where it went. File it off, no problems. And it works. It's always worked for me anyway. When I do setups in the workshop, I take the strings off, I will check all the saddles. Every time. Because you just never know. Some saddles are more prone to it. So like the Steinberger blocks that Status also used for many years on the headless basses before they went to the monorails. Those sort of blocks, and Spectre as well, those blocks had a point that the string passed over and was always prone to getting metal burrs on. Very few basses I've ever seen, whether my own, bought second hand, or that I've set up for people, if they've got those blocks, I can show you, I've got the bass here. Those blocks always have a little section. There we go. So we're talking about these. These. They have a point. If you took the string off, invariably you'll have seen someone's filed them. So during the 80s, when lots of Hohner headless basses were using the Steinberger design, these blocks, you'd find if you took a round wound string off any block, loads of grooves in it where the strings passed over. You've got to file it away. It's not a big job. It's not something that's hard. It's not difficult. It's just using your common sense, and you look at it and you see, certainly on the bigger blocks, and actually on my Empathy, sometimes where the E string goes over the bridge saddle, it's a fairly large point of contact, and you can look at it and you can see groove after groove after groove, and all of those grooves might have a sharp edge. You just get the file, smooth it all down, off you go. Saves you a fortune not having to take it to the guitar tech or the guy that does your setups. Sabir, I personally stretch my strings like I'm stretching my wee-wee. Okay. I think we will just block you there. That's very good. And we'll get rid of that. And that's good. And all your comments are deleted. And there you go. You won't be on the channel again. Thank you very much. There we are. So we got rid of that joker. And now you can try and leave comments and you won't be able to do anything, I'm afraid. But there we go. So here we are, Brooksy's Bass Corner, 10:05, Wednesday evening, coming to you from London town here in the UK. Hope everything's well with everyone. Hope your bass playing's going great. So, yeah. Christmas coming. Who's got bass-related presents heading their way? What has everyone been asking for? What have you asked Santa Claus to put in your stocking? Anyone got pedals coming their way, or bass gifts? Maybe maintenance stuff. A couple of sets of strings, packs of picks. Let me know what's hot on the present request side of things this year. Did anyone get stuff in the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales? Did you find anything? Did anyone get any good deals? Let me know. Let's just check our live stream here. We're all good, I think. Yeah, viewer activity is fine. Stream health is good. That's all I can ask for. Very good. So like I say, new content, it's basically backing up at the moment because this month's been a little lively with gigs and day-to-day stuff. So in an ideal world, I'll have a video up for you tomorrow if I can make sure I've got about 3 hours to do the social promotion side of it. We'll see how we get on. Got a bunch of new shorts to go. Been working on those because I can do those quite quick, and obviously they don't need promotion. YouTube algorithm does all the promotion for those. Those strings you bought were $19.99. Where did you buy them from? Did you go via Strings and Beyond, like I was suggesting last week? Oh no, you said where you went. Guitar. You went to Guitar Center. Sorry, it's my stupidity. That's all right. $19.99 for a set of strings. Very good. $19.99, of course, not £19. Great. How did you get on replacing those machine heads? Did that all work out okay? Did you get the bushings in? I can't remember on Ibanez. Did they have bushings? So you have like a metal collar that goes into the hole that's on the headstock, and then the tuner actually goes in that. Guitar Center in New Orleans. Okay, and they're on. Sounds good. Still need to stretch. Got it. Did you clean? Sorry. I was in the middle of swallowing there. Did you clean and condition your fingerboard before you put the strings on? Because if you've got a mucky fingerboard and you put new strings on, invariably those strings are going to get coated in the muck that's on the board. You let me know. If you didn't, you can always take the strings off and do it. It's not imperative that you can't take strings off and then put them back on. Normally I would say don't generally do that. Once they're stretched in, leave them be. But I have had basses where there might have been gunk building up on a fingerboard and the strings aren't ready to be changed, and I'll just take them off, clean the bass up and put them back on. Yes, sir. You wiped it down. They installed easily. Good. I can see you were starting to write something there, probably about the bushings. Yes, sir. The stem. If you've got any questions about anything here on the channel, any videos you may have seen, anything you'd like to see, maybe there's certain content you'd like to see more of, or some gear featured, let me know. Great sustain on the low B. Excellent. Once they're all on and stretched in, make sure they're all voicing properly, so you haven't got any dead strings, nothing that feels unnew, if that makes sense. The nut goes around the stem into the headstock. Right, okay, yeah. Very good. We've had a new subscriber join. Thank you very much. If you're here on the live chat, you haven't come just from a video, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming along. Very much appreciated. If you've got any questions, let me know. Put your comment in the text box at the bottom of the live chat window and press send, and it'll appear here in my feed. Then I can try and help you. You used to gig with a guy that tuned to 432 for historical purposes. There's a lot of those sort of people about. In your own band, you can do those sort of things. If you go out and play for other bands and you dep a lot, it's not great. I would suggest. So if you want to join me here on Brooksy's Bass Corner by video or audio, if you want to have a chat about anything to do with bass, or you got some gear problems, email me. There's a ticker running along at the bottom of the video. Email me at brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll send you an invite. You click on the invite and you come to screen. Simple as that. Easy. Very easy. He's a flat earther, okay? Leave them in their ignorance, I say. Andy, have you tried Gotto GB11 tuners? I bought a few sets recently and love them. I haven't had to buy any hardware since 2018, when I bought the bass that I use for doing the Queen tributes with. I bought a black Mexican standard precision, and basically ripped all the hardware pickups and scratch plate off it and redid it so it looked like a John Deacon inspired precision. So it's got gold hardware, and I bought Hipshot ultralights, but in the cloverleaf elephant ear style, and a Wilkinson brass bridge. Changed the pickup for an Aguilar 60s P, I think. Or was it the hot 60s hot? I think 4P hot, I think it was, and new plate and all of that. So I haven't bought any hardware in a long time. But by all means, tell me what's so good about those. I'm assuming they're lightweight and they turn smoothly, but maybe the gear ratio is super accurate, maybe. Andy, speaking of Christmas, recently wrote an arrangement at Donny Hathaway's this Christmas for my big band. Okay. Only costume I wanted to dig in that sweet bass line. Okay. Okay. Excellent. You should, I don't know, maybe you already do, contact No Treble they have a website and Facebook page, and they will publish people's arrangements of things. So if you want some exposure for your arrangement, Oh, okay. Only because I wanted to dig in that sweet bass line. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Donny Hathaway. Cool. What a, what's the word? A melting pot of great lines in his back catalogue. Some guy, you wrote a Christmas song yesterday. Did you now? Are you going to share it? Is there a link for people to hear it? If you've got a link, you can email it to me. You can't put it into the live chat, sadly. Email it to me and I'll post it up if you want some exposure on that. Let me know. Obviously, Brooksy's Bass Corner merch is all available. Links in description box, along with affiliate links for Amazon, Tome and Gear for Music, and Andertons. The Bass Centre here in the UK. They've still got their 40th anniversary merch available. Caps, T-shirts, straps, bottle openers, all sorts. Top Cashback, StreamYard, and vidIQ. But Brooksy's Bass Corner merch is available in the description box below. You can help the channel, get something for your money and your donation. Hopefully going to put up some new merch in the new year. Going to try and get my design head on over Christmas and New Year. Get some new designs up. You're a bit shy, some guy. You're amongst friends here, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're a bass player. We don't do shy. We may stand at the back a lot, but we're not shy. Cheers, everyone. If you're not able to make next Tuesday, I'll wish you happy Christmas and happy New Year right now. Andy, those GB11 tuners weight-wise are somewhere between a Hipshot and a Shala BMCL. Okay. Okay. The ones I've got on the Precision work really great, I have to say. Very smooth turning. And again, the gear ratio is really smooth. When you're tuning up, you see it on the tuner, it's just a smooth thing, not a sort of haphazard jump. You wonder how we made do with such old style machine heads for years, decades. Excuse me. They always come in pairs, I find. Yeah, and now we all have lightweight tuners and the gear ratios are super fab. So, yeah. All good. All good. So if you're watching this on catch up, you can still get involved in the conversation. Although the live chat window will be closed, you can still leave comments on the video. And I will always reply to comments as soon as I get a notification from YouTube that one has been sent. So if you're watching this tomorrow, on Wednesday, or it could be next week, could be next month, could be next year, because we're very near 2025. If we talk about anything here on the live chat and you want to contribute, or you've got, maybe you know something we don't, then leave a comment. And like I say, as soon as I get notification from YouTube, I will reply to it and we can carry on the conversation. I have a lot of bass playing friends who don't come on here live to the live chat on the night. They listen to the live chat, watch the live chat after the event. And I've had a few say, I actually listen to your live chat when I'm driving in the car, either to a gig or from a gig. So they're listening to the audio, or if they've got YouTube running on a device in their car, they can have that running as well. So yeah, if you're one of those, if you're a friend of mine and I actually know you and you're listening after the event, thank you for your support. It's very much appreciated. So like I say, next Tuesday will be the last one before Christmas. We'll be here at 8 o'clock. And then I'm going to try and do live chats on a Saturday afternoon for UK viewers. It'll be Saturday morning and lunchtime in the US. So we're going to just try a few things, see what the take-up is if we do it on a Saturday afternoon instead of a Tuesday evening. And yeah, hopefully see some of you on some Saturday afternoons during the cold, murky Saturdays of winter. Some guy, I have a Hipshot Bridge GB Bender. Okay, sounds like an affliction. with a drop D toggle on my Telecaster. Is that the GB bender that's similar to what was on George Harrison's Rosewood Telly? Where, I can't remember, is it something on the back and it changes the tuning? I think, I can't remember. There was definitely something on the Rosewood Telly that George Harrison's got. There's a facility to change something, change the tuning, I think. Is that what we're referring to here? I'm guessing so. Maybe. Maybe. But, yeah. I'm waiting for your reply. B string articulates with a lever that articulates with your hip. That's the thing I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yep. I think it's on the strap button, isn't it? So you basically move the guitar down, or is it? I can't remember. I remember seeing it. G string has a palm lever. Okay. Maybe this is Hipshot's version of what was on that telly. Maybe. Cool. There's great gear out there now. You know, there's so much great gear. All these little additions. I can remember years ago, you know, accessories, hardware wasn't a big deal. There was what there was. There was Shala, Goto, a few other bits and bobs, but there wasn't all the variations that there are now. You know, everything's catered for, really. How we tolerated heavy machine heads on a headstock for as long as we did, you know, crazy. And you see some of the old Fender stuff. I mean, it is like lead weight, you know, crazy stuff. There's always that argument that it could add to the tone, contribute to the overall tone. And sometimes maybe it does, but I'd rather have a lighter bass than a heavier one. Okay, let's see how I'm doing here. Okay, I think numbers are dropping. I'm seeing a downward trend here. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the live chat. We've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. So thank you very much, everyone, for getting involved tonight. It's been a pleasure. Good to see you all. Hope you're all doing okay. So if you've got gigs this week, enjoy them. Have a great time. Jerry Blair hasn't appeared. So Jerry, if you watch this after the event, I'm going to leave your name on the door at Sawbridgeworth Memorial Hall on Saturday. If you want to come to the show, come along. Your name will be on the list. Andy, I'm finishing my home-built Sabre over the holidays. I should send you a video of the build. Yes, please. It's being constructed around a Status Music Man replacement neck. Fabulous. Won't go wrong with that. And a heap of genuine parts I've collected. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Tell you what, come on to one of the live chats, whether next week or once we get over Christmas, one of the Saturday afternoons. Come on here live and talk me through what you're doing. Show me what you've got and what your plans are. That'd be great. I'm sure everyone else would find it very interesting as well. So Jerry Blair, yes, I will leave your name on the guest list for Saturday. If you want to contact me, email me, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. We can discuss it if you're coming along. Anyone else that wants to come along to the Uncle Funk Disco Inferno Christmas show, we're in Sawbridgeworth Memorial Hall this Saturday, the 14th of December. You don't have to pay for tickets. I can get you in because I have access to the guest list. So let me know. I guess the best way, just leave a comment on this video or contact us on social media or email me, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. We'll be here next Tuesday from 8 o'clock for the last live chat of this season. We've been going since start of July, so it's been a fair old run. So anyone who's a returning viewer, if you're leaving comments, liking the videos, sharing the videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you're a new subscriber, great to have you along. Hope you find some content you find useful and entertaining. On that note, I'm going to go and have my dinner. You guys have a great week. I'll see you next Tuesday. If you've got any questions, leave comments or email. And on that note, have a great week. I'll see you next week. Take it easy.